Great. Okay, well, hello everybody, and it's so great to see everyone again. Mary Welsh here, a longtime choral member, and I have the honor today of speaking with one of our first conductors, Brian O'Connell, and our present conductor, Sarah Labrie, who I just am very anxious to hear everything. I actually joined the chorus right out of college back in 1986. And Brian, you were my first conductor. And I remember graduating college and feeling very lost in terms of the music and choral world, and not knowing, having sung all my life in school, what do you do when you're out, when there's no more school, and where do you go? And I found the Quincy Choral Society and its community group, and you lured me in with your magic at the time, and I'm still here 35 years later. So I'm anxious to hear what you've been up to, and so tell us a little bit about how you ended up at Quincy way back in what year did you start? Now, was it 85?
84. 84. Yeah. How did I start? I don't recall how I saw the position being open, the open position. I may sort of, I was the chairman of the voice department at Berkeley College, and I had a very, very good choir there. But I had also done the Quincy, the Quincy, the Cambridge chorale, and the National Choral Society, and those I wasn't. I wanted to have another adult choral society. So I auditioned. Yeah, I think I was still still a fairly young man. I mean, Sarah, when I say 31, you say that's not that young, but for me it was quite young, and it was fabulous for me because it gave me the chance to explore pieces that I hadn't, I wouldn't be able to conduct ordinarily. Some really fine pieces, and the people in the choral society were open to anything. They were the orchestra, and we were lucky enough to have a really fine group of solo singers within the chorus. There were quite a few people that could sing so well, professional level singers. They were terrific.
I do remember one of the first pieces that I did with you was the Messiah. So that was quite something to take on, with a newer group of singers, and you're right, there was a lot of talented singers.
Yeah, I think for that concert, let me see, I dug out some of my old programs, but I think for that concert we pretty much filled the soloist roster with our in-house, with our own people.
Right, I think so.
So that was
it's no small feat to have a choir with the Messiah soloists.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. And I think back, I think one of my favorite pieces was one of the first ones that I did. It was Haydn's Lord Nelson, and that's such a great piece. And we had a soprano soloist, but Brenda Kelly was a really terrific soprano.
Brenda was amazing.
And I don't know if you've ever sung that, Sarah. That the solo in the Lord Nelson is really a tour de force. It's very operatic,
Absolutely.
And she knocked it out of the park. And Martha McMahon, who's been around there forever. I think she was one of the founders, and terrific. Philip Brown.
Yes.
Philip Brown was a really good bass. I don't remember the tenor, but that was such a fun concert. And we had when I started, we had about 80 people. So it was you know, we had the numbers to make a pretty full sound. Let me see where that. Oh, it was at the Bethany Congregational Church
Right,
in Quincy.
right. The
But
early
by the
days,
time
we
I
did
finished,
move
I think,
around a little bit.
yeah, by the time I finished, I think we were singing at Eastern Nazarene.
Yes.
And I only let me be quite frank. The only reason that I and to get there, which I tried for a year, was a 2-hour drive to get there and a 2-hour drive back. And I couldn't see myself doing that for too much longer. So I
That's right. I remember.
very reluctantly left the position.
Right, right.
Um,
And then you went
you know,
on to do quite a
I
bit of
was
teaching.
sad, very sad. Lots of different colleges and a great music conservatory all by itself. When when you walk down the corridors in Lexington High, let's say there's 1,000. I don't know how many kids there are, about 1,000. And I had 250 in my choir. So that means that one out of every was a member of the choir. So I was like at home, and the orchestras, and there were 2 orchestras, 2 bands, and a big jazz program and a massive a cappella singing program. So everybody, like half the school was involved with music. So that was a great experience and time.
I envy that, in the same position now in being able to conduct Quincy Choral Society, but also in my high school job. I cannot imagine having every other kid in my choirs. You must have been quite a music man, to draw in that many students into the program. I think it just speaks so much to how you are as a conductor. And I know Mary and I were talking about that last night. Just saying there was something about, it's just so great to work with you and your energy, sort of the magic, right, in the room.
Well, thank you. But a lot of it is just being annoying. I would go up to kids all the time. If I saw some kids I didn't know and they looked like they had something on the ball, I'd say, "Hey, why aren't you singing in the choir?"
Oh, you were that guy.
I'm missing out on a great experience. I'll write you a pass. You leave whatever class you're in, you come down and sing, and then if you like it, you can sign up. Bang. And that worked. When I started, there were about 70 kids singing total. And then
that's quite extraordinary.
Within not too long, I had over 200 numbers in tours to different places. So
that's great. Now, Sarah, you're in a little bit of the same boat, from what I can gather, in terms of starting with a program that's not what you call robust.
Just a matter of persistence, I think. You're the real deal, and I'm so happy. Wow, what goes around comes around. Here's one of my favorite young people getting a job that I used to have, and it just really touched me. I can't tell you how much it touched me. It was so wonderful.
Oh, I appreciate that. Mary and I were talking last night about how you and I were introduced to each other, and it was such a small world connection. And I say this all the time, that the choir world, the longer you're in it, the smaller it gets. And you just sort of end up networking and meeting everybody. And so when I first met you and first encountered the Sartiano program, I had been teaching for, gosh, I think 4 years at the time. I was still very fresh in my job, and had brought my high school jazz choir to a jazz competition over in Wellesley at Wellesley High School with Kevin McDonald. And he said, hey, you know, your kids are great. I love seeing this and, you know, meeting you, and you've got this energy. And hey, have you ever thought about, you know, conducting more outside of school? And I just had this big imposter syndrome and said, no, I can't do that. I'm not good enough to do that. So he said, you know, there's this really great program in Italy. You should think about it. And I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, I probably won't get in, right? And so sure enough, it happened a couple months later. You gave me a call and said, hey, we had this this soprano who all of a sudden can't come to the festival anymore. We're looking for another soprano. It's a conducting auditor spot. And I said, oh, okay. That sounds great. It just said, it sounds amazing. I've never left the country, and I don't know if I'm good enough to do this, but heck, let's go. And so it was just this crazy small world thing. And I said, yeah, let's go. And, you know, that's where I met you in Italy. And to be honest, actually, Brian, I don't know that we've ever seen each other in person in the United States. I think we've only seen each other overseas.
Well, that's pretty special.
Yeah. It's a special time and a place. It's just been wonderful. 18 years I've been doing it. Unfortunately, last summer and this summer we've had to cancel. So we're going to do it one more time, and then someone else is going to take over the workshop. But I'm going to do it one more time.
Wow. And Brian, can you tell us, for the audience who doesn't know, what the Sartiano Chamber Choral Project is that happens in Tuscany? Because it sounds fascinating. So how did you start this program? You started the program. You originated it, did you not?
Yeah, I did, yes.
Well, I mean, how does one start about saying, I think I'll run a workshop in Tuscany and people will want to come?
I happen to be married to a very brilliant woman, and she is a real go-getter. And I had, for many years, I was about 50. No, I was early when I did workshops and things like that. Just because I'm never satisfied with me. You know, I always say, oh, I got to figure this out. I got to figure that out. I got to learn that. You know, and I would work on anything, you know. So the last thing that I did, I went to Rimini, a workshop with Peter Phillips, and Peter is a great guy, and but it was the same thing. It wasn't what I was envisioning in my mind, which is a place where conductors come, they get a chance to meet each other, work with each other, and there are a few tiers, and the 12 people conduct every single day. They get a chance to have plenty of time rehearsing, because rehearsing is what choral music is about. Any fool can, you know, put on a record and wave their hands around, and the rehearsing has been done by someone else. The hard part is, how do you get from point A, nobody knows the music, to point Z, where it's incredibly artistic, wonderful, life-changing experience. And of a process of learning and growing. And that's what the workshop is about. Now, when Sarah came, she wasn't a full conductor. She was called an auditor, and they get a chance to have podium time as well. And her first year, I asked her to take one of the slots to conduct in the concert. Wow. You remember that, don't you, Sarah?
Oh, I wept.
I had confidence in this young lady.
Wow, that was it. Yes, you must have seen
Sarah has a
something
way
very
of,
special.
yeah, Sarah has a way of just not only being good, but also being inspirational and just exuberant about things. So, I mean, geez, I'd like to sing for Sarah.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I'm just going to say that in these COVID times and with it, just being just so early on in your tenure, Sarah, to the enthusiasm that you speak of, Brian, is absolutely alive and well and kicking. And it's so, I think, as a member, it must just be so incredibly difficult to be on the other side of a screen and trying to really engage with the chorus and your membership and to get them to respond and to feel that energy, and it all comes back at you from the conductor. So Sarah has a great way, and you saw that right away.
I did.
Oh, thank you so
It's
much.
proof positive. I'm pointing in her direction on my screen. There she is over there. Yeah, so the workshop went on for about 18, well, it has gone on for about 18 years. And one of the great things about it was that I was able to work with Simon Carrington, who was one of the founding members of a group called the King's Singers. And I sang with them for 25. We were doing like a workshop kind of seminar thing at BU for music educators, and I was doing one, and he was doing one, and that was the first time I met him. And I said to him, Simon, I've got this idea about doing this. I explained the workshop and how I thought about it as a rehearsal kind of situation where people talk, work, and learn. It's how you rehearse, how you get things done. What are you hearing? What are you listening for? And how do you fix it? So anyway, Simon told Simon about it, and well, let's see if I can do a British accent. Absolutely, count me in, Brian. How'd I do, Sarah?
Spot on.
Spot on. Okay. Anyway, it's been wonderful, and he's become one of my best friends. And
wow,
over the years, yeah.
It's amazing. And I bet you had a few good meals over in Tuscany as well. maybe just a little bit.
I'll let you in on a secret. Everyone talks about the French cuisine. No, Italy is the place. At least in my humble opinion.
My humble opinion, I agree with you. So 18 years, that's extraordinary. You must have, and people come from all over the world, mostly from the US. So there are a lot of, Italian conductors as well.
Luckily, I've been on a diet, though. I've been on a diet. Most people come from the US, but we have had, I counted them up. I've kept a good record. We've had 42 countries represented, wow. 6 continents. I'm waiting for a penguin to come up from Antarctica, and we'll have 7 continents. A conducting penguin. Fine job.
That's extraordinary, though. Just the amount of people and from all different walks of life.
Yeah, there's been a lot of people from all. Yeah. Usually we have about 30 people in the session, and they're mostly all professional. Professional conductors, either college conductors or and a smattering of students. I have given a workshop, a scholarship to students at ULowell, where I had been teaching until the COVID hit last spring.
Oh, wow.
And Yeah, I was teaching conducting.
Opportunity. What an opportunity for that student who would, earn that scholarship to go to Tuscany and be in a workshop with you and all of your peers. How
Yeah.
exciting. Great opportunity for some lucky student.
Well, I know, and then they get a chance to meet Sarah too, because she's. How many times did you come, Sarah? 3 times?
Twice so far. It was supposed to be a third last
summer. Twice. Oh.
So I'm waiting. I'm holding out.
So my students would have a chance to to meet Sarah and she could show them all the hot spots in Sartiano.
Yeah, and I think one of the
I'm laughing. There are not too many hot spots in Sartiano.
One of the best.
It's a very little town.
Yes, and you know what? It's all word of mouth, right? The first time I came, everybody, the first night before we even started singing, said, "Oh, we're going downtown." And I thought, okay, what's downtown? And it really is this medieval place, and you walk down these not quite cobblestone, but really sandstone sort of streets that would fit maybe one car if it's small enough. And
Yikes.
So you walk to the center of town, everything opens up. But the best part about this Sartiano program is, you're right, just meeting all of these different people from different walks of life, from different parts of the world. And I think of how much that has springboarded what I've done in my professional career, meeting these folks from everywhere and connecting our choirs and seeing how somebody from Japan, how somebody from Finland, how somebody from Mexico approaches rehearsal, right? And it's just fascinating to me. And so for the students, right, from the students from UMass Lowell who get this opportunity to come on a scholarship, I just think of how much it's not just giving them a great choral experience, but really opening this world of opportunities to them just through these connections. It makes the world smaller.
Yeah.
Well, that reminds me, Sarah, of, that right now, I'm not sure if you shared this with Brian, how we're working with a conductor friend of yours in England. So that's just another example of how small the music world is, right? You guys in Tuscany, and now we're having this across the pond experience.
Now, who is that?
Brian, it's
Cole.
Who
are you working with?
Cole Bendel from last year.
Sure.
So we
So did you meet Cole through the Sartiano program? Oh boy, the world's getting smaller.
Yes,
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Cole and I are sort of combining forces. So Quincy Choral Society and one of his groups, the Reigate and Red Hill Choral Society, are working together to premiere through this new choirless software, the Foray Requiem. So he is going to be conducting a live orchestra, and then we're going to put together a virtual performance of this whole thing. So we've been learning it all over Zoom. Going to smash together our choral societies.
More power to you. That's I'm boy, that's amazing.
It's quite an undertaking. I feel it's quite an undertaking.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we just finished learning the In Paradisum on Monday evening. So we just finished all the notes and rhythms, and sort of now get to go back and comb through things again before this final recording process. But also, of course, as you know, the UK is still in that tier 3 lockdown. So we've had a hard time getting the orchestra together to make that recording. So we haven't been able to go through the process of using this new software quite as early as I was hoping, just because of all these COVID circumstances. But, I'm so grateful that everyone is so flexible in this crazy time to say, well, okay, we'll just push it off to next week. That's the best we can do right now.
I know. It's crazy. Yeah. So
Cole is also a conductor who's gone to Sartiano then.
Yes.
I love it.
yeah, there have been a lot of people creating connections and doing exchange programs with each other, and that's been great. That that warms the cockles of my heart.
I'm sure. So you're gonna aim for next year, and will that be an even 20
That's
years of?
such a wonderful thing. When that 20 years. Let me see. It'll be. I think it's maybe it'll be 20 years. Satiano is in bad straits right now themselves. They are they're really hurting. Everyone's sick there. So that's we haven't even we canceled it last a few days ago, last week, and nothing you can do. Yeah. So c'est la vie.
No, that's too bad. And so you're at UMass Lowell now, and are you on a?
No, not well. Technically, no, because last spring was my last semester, and then they have the numbers went down, and everything is. Even last spring, I was doing everything on Zoom like we are now. Yeah. But geez, trying to do a conducting class on Zoom, it's not too cool.
No.
Yeah, even in our Monday evening rehearsals, when I go to conduct something, you have to back up really far and kind of keep your conducting in this tiny little box.
That's good. That's good.
You can't use your wingspan. So I can't imagine teaching a conducting course on Zoom. I can't imagine.
Yeah, they're nuts. So let's see. As I was saying before, I got when I was young, I got a chance to do some fabulous pieces. Like I never would have expected to doing. I did. Looking at my old programs today, I saw some. Just, wow, I'd forgot about that. Christmas oratorio we did with harp.
Yes, yes.
One of the opportunities the Quincy Choral Society offered me or occurred during this was that I was working on my master's with Alan Lanham at Boston Conservatory, and he suggested that I do a performance master's, a document, massive document actually, about the transition from the beginning to the end. And I did Poulenc's Gloria and Mozart's Coronation Mass. And I kept track of every single rehearsal, things that went right, things that went wrong, and how I was going to address them in the next rehearsal. And yeah.
The Poulenc Gloria is on my bucket list for QCS.
Oh, good.
Ooh.
Well, it'll be the second time that they've done it.
Yeah.
There might be a few of us left who were there. You
remember back in '85?
Yeah.
What a fun and wild piece of music. That would be such a celebratory thing to do coming out of it.
Yeah.
As lovely as the requiems are, I wonder if doing a requiem coming out of a pandemic is just a little too on the nose, and sad.
I think you're onto something there now that you mention it. I hadn't really thought about that. When we finally get back together, we'll be trudging through.
Oh, but so many requiems are just so wonderful. Brahms and Mozart and Dürfler, et cetera, et cetera. Even rock. So.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite, Brian? Do you have a favorite requiem? Yeah.
Yeah. I think if I said, okay, you're going to conduct one piece and then you're going to die right at the end of it, I'd do Mozart. Mozart requiem. I love it. Thank God for a number of years, I was Alex. Anytime that he was really nice to me. I love that old guy, and he would give me a lot of the summer things to conduct myself. So I did Poulenc and I did Mozart and all sorts of pieces that were just so much fun. And so many people from Quincy Choral Society would come to those.
Yes.
I would see Joyce and Diane and others that would come to those Masterwork Summer Sings. Those were great. I had so much fun.
They were awesome. Yeah.
And then a couple of years ago, I got a chance to do, I was one of the finalists for taking over the Masterworks Chorale.
Wow.
But
when Alan retired?
No, when Stephen
oh right,
what was his
right.
last name?
There was an in between. Yes, yes.
He was there for quite a while. I think I don't know, 15 years or so. Quite a long time. But I thought I'd give it a shot, and I did a concert with them. But at that time I was 69, and I was saying in the back of my head, why are they doing this? If I was looking for a conductor for a choral society, I wouldn't be picking somebody that's 69, even if they were in the tip-top condition, which I was. Anyway, yeah. So they, I didn't get the position. It's okay. I don't mind at all. But it was fun to do something with Masterworks again.
I hope that I just think about in your leaving from UMass Lowell and not getting to do that final concert. I hope that whether UMass Lowell brings you back or some other group, and that you get to conduct some big final master. I hope you get your Mozart Requiem. I hope you don't die immediately afterwards, but
well, you should talk to my wife. She might be open. No, I'm only kidding. Oops.
And I thought in the
Can you hear me? There I am. I pushed I pushed a button.
Yep.
I'm laughing. I pushed a button.
In this first year with QCS, I came in following Joshua Rohde. And it was an interim position. So QCS, you were interviewing many, many conductors for the position. And we had just prepared, we'd done our Fair Saturday and caroling. And just before the shutdown happened, it was going to be this weekend, a year ago. We were supposed to do our True Colors concert. And that was going to be my first concert with QCS. And of course, it never happened. And I thought, oh my God, is that the end of my interim position? Am I never going to see QCS again? And so, thank goodness, through the whole thing, Cindy gave me a call and said, actually, we really want you to, stay and be our conductor. And I thought, whew, okay, good. Because I had all these great ideas and, I just thought, oh, is that it?
That was such a disappointing moment. It literally was, I think, the concert was supposed to be on Sunday, and I think we called it on Friday night.
Right.
It was that we were that close to getting it off, and little did we know. I was so disappointed at the time, and I remember thinking, well, what's one more day or one more month or one more year, as it turned out, right?
Right.
So yeah, I kind of had forgotten the timeline on that, Sarah. That was very depressing at the time.
I know. And it's hard to believe it's been a whole year. I mean, we're coming up on the anniversary this week, and just wild. All those dreams, all those concerts.
Yeah.
Just,
yeah. Well, I'll let you in on a secret. Look at this, Sarah. I'll put my hair back, but if you can see in the back, I've been growing this.
Oh
That's a year's worth of hair.
Oh my God.
That is great.
Yeah. I don't know. They got these little things here shining in the sun. Sun is shining in the back. Hey, can you hang on for 1 second? Just you two talk. I'm gonna go get something that has I've kept it with me all these years. Hang on, and I'll be
Oh
right back.
boy,
I forgot to get it. It's a prop.
a prop. All right.
Oh, I'm excited to see what it is.
I am excited too. I have my speaking of props, is my
Oh my
1987. This is the Messiah program he was talking, and here's the Saint Sands program that he was talking about.
Oh, it was. I didn't catch who the composer of that oratory. I thought maybe it was the Bach Christmas oratory.
Yeah. Well, it's
Oh,
backwards probably in there, but yeah, we dug deep into the box, way back into the archives, the hardcore archives. Oh, Brian's got props.
Oh, that's a
Okay.
big score.
Do you see that?
Oh, that's beautiful.
You back up a little bit and try to get the sunshine out of the.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Isn't that nice?
Wow. Was that
Diane Murphy's brother-in-law made that for me when I left.
Wow.
And every time it hangs up right in front of my house there, and it's been there all that time because we moved up to the country, out into the woods, and that was the impression of the
that is
the house
absolutely
with the
beautiful.
notes coming out of the fireplace, and the O'Connells. So.
Oh, that's so special. I love that.
You
Guess
made
what?
Hello.
My son Alex dropped something on the internet connection. I'm about getting a chance at the beginning, but I am even more happy now that Sarah is taking over the position, because I knew when I saw her conduct in Italy that she's the real deal. She's going to go places. So,
and I think as a
especially
member
if you have a T pass.
Well, speaking of going places, where you moved, I lost you there for a minute earlier. I remember you were driving hours and hours to rehearsal, because I remember I drove an hour to get there, and I thought that was crazy. So
yeah.
But you moved way off somewhere.
Yeah.
And where are you now? Are you off you said you're in the woods somewhere?
I'm in Lexington.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm in Lexington.
Ah, very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. One of the things that I've been doing, and if this is interesting to you or of interest to you, Sarah, is that I seem to be a like the go-to person for filling in for people that are conductors that are sick with choral societies. I've done in the last couple of years about 7 different groups. Where people call me up and say, Brian, I'm sick, I can't go in. Will you go in? And that's what piece you doing? And I say, such and such. And I say, I've done that, no problem.
Oh, wow. So well, maybe we could bring you in as a guest conductor, even if Sarah's not sick.
If you like.
Why wait for Sarah to be sick?
Well,
that would be so fun.
Oh, we would love that.
If you like, no.
That would be amazing, and I know a lot of the membership would appreciate that. And Sarah has actually brought in some guest speakers, and it's just been fascinating to it's just always nice to get another perspective and whatnot. Although we're still getting used to Sarah's perspective, so. But that's a great. I like that idea a lot. That's fun.
Oh yeah, it just popped into my head because I'm not doing much these days, and it's fun to get a call. Say, Brian, quickly, you have to fill in for me tonight. I say, oh, good. Although that hasn't gone since the COVID started. I've had friends calling up saying, what should I do? What should I do? I said, I don't know what to do. It's been a disaster. I mean, how much it means to people to be part of a group and to get together one time a week and to sing together and to make music together, and it's like it's been snatched away. It's just so sad. A huge part of people's lives,
yeah,
ripped out. There's no other way to explain it. We should all move to Texas, where anything goes, right?
I know. I wonder if their choirs are rehearsing already. Gosh.
We'll start the Texas Marching COVID Choir.
And they'll call us up for all the football games, and
yeah.
Boy. Yeah.
We were joking around about doing that at school, you know, how basketball and cheerleading and football is all allowed right now. It's fine. COVID doesn't know it's sports. And so and we thought, seriously. And so they've been playing sports all year. And I thought, I wonder if I take the choir and just give them all pom-poms, can we have a rehearsal? If I, it's just crazy.
There it is. The more things change, the more they stay the same, huh? Wow. Right. I did not realize that the athletics were like carrying on and muzzling the arts department. The arts are like, nope, don't need those.
Right.
Saving people's sanity. Wow.
What's new, huh?
Exactly.
Right. And we're seeing it, it's in our choir world too, that
I used to give the cheerleaders a hard time. I'd say to them, men's basketball team or the women's basketball team? So, the men's. I said, don't you cheer for the women's team too? And they'd look at me like saying, I don't know.
Oh my God.
I'd say, something's wrong with that. Yeah. Things are a lot of kilter here in the educational system, I think.
And in bringing back music outside of schools too, we're seeing this, bringing football, like NFL things back and all this great stuff. And, but, singing, of course, because we're all standing,
is there anything you want to talk about?
Yeah. It's harder with this whole, standing in a stationary place and breathing hot air all over each other. So I understand, the hesitation to come back. And if we were to do it outside, that's one thing. But of course, choirs really depend on having an acoustic to sing in. So if singing outdoors is it's difficult.
Right. We looked at those choirs that were rehearsing right in parking garages and whatnot. Yes. I just thought to myself, that just doesn't feel.
It's not the same.
That just doesn't feel right.
No, and it sounds great, but yeah, I imagine that the feeling of it is just not quite the same.
Yeah, right.
Not quite the same.
That's for sure.
We kind of like being packed like sardines on stage. That's just what we do.
We do. Yep, exactly. Banging each other on the back of the head with your music folder.
Oh, I can't wait.
Tighten up, move over. 3 more people have to fit in that tiny little space that's this big.
Exactly. I cannot wait to return to that overcrowded ride. Oh, it's going to be great.
Exactly.
When was the last
Brian, we're losing you a little bit. You're coming in and out.
To you.
Well, I'll just say thank you for doing this with me, and in case we suddenly get cut off. So thank you so much, Mary. Nice to see you again.
Brian, it's been an absolute pleasure to see you and to get caught up a little bit, and we hope to see you. We'll have to reconnect again when we're in person and revisit that conversation about having a guest in one Monday night. What do you think, Sarah?
Oh, absolutely. Oh,
we terrific.
Such a fabulous time going back and forth and just seeing what you do. And I know we'd love to have you.
Well, it's wonderful watching you guys together too. The mentor and the mentee, and terrific. Thank you both so much. Be well.
Yes, thank you, Brian.
Yeah, this I'm pointing at Sarah. She has a warm spot in my heart. So she's a terrific young lady. So
there
we go.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Brian. Thank you.
You're welcome.